Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings. Y'all come on in, come on in. Come on in and come on in. Let's go ahead and get day 7 started with the Pressure Purge Challenge. And we got off to a little bit of a late start. I got caught up in traffic outside. Didn't realize how much was going on with the holidays and stuff. But I think we're ready to get started with day 7 and continuing breaking down the Pressure Purge Challenge and understanding the foods that we need to remove from our diet to help us get better control of our blood pressure. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna adjust my lights just a little bit. This looks a little sketchy, but I think we'll be ready to start in just a moment, matter of fact. So yeah, that's all right, that's cool. And I'm gonna leave that one there. All right, cool, yeah. So the last 6 days we've been breaking down the foods that have a negative impact on our blood pressure. We've been understanding the salt, the oils, the sugars, the salt, the oils, the sugar, the caffeine, the alcohol, all those different things that have a direct impact on your blood pressure. We've been breaking them down, understanding, how it affects our blood pressure and our overall health, but most importantly, understanding the different tactics and strategies that we can use to remove these items from our diet and help us continue to gain ground when it comes down to correcting our blood pressure. One of the main things that we need to understand during this process is that it's all about gradual progression. You want to gradually progress to your goal by making these small incremental changes that's going to help you be consistent through this process. Some individuals can just pull all these things from their diet and just start gaining ground really fast with these changes. Some people may need to take smaller steps, but the main thing is understanding where these foods are coming into your diet at, removing them, and making the necessary dietary changes to continue to correct these problems. So we talked about the salt, the oils, the sugar, the caffeine, the alcohol, and tonight for day 7, we're going to be talking about the excessive consumption of animal-based products, and we're going to identify some particular targets that are important when it comes down to the impact on your overall health, more specifically with your blood pressure. So I'm going to be reading from the Pressure Purge book. We're going to be breaking it down and moving through it. And if you guys have any questions or concerns, feel free to drop it down in the chat. And once I get to that section, I'll go ahead and answer those questions and we'll continue to progress through the challenge. Okay, here we go. Chapter 7, Understanding Animal-Based Products. The impact of animal-based products on blood pressure. In this chapter, we will explore the significance of eliminating or reducing the consumption of animal-based products in the context of managing blood pressure. We will dive into the effects of saturated fats and cholesterol on blood pressure and cholesterol levels, as well as their role in promoting the development of arterial plaque. Additionally, we will examine how individuals following a plant-based diet tend to have lower blood pressure compared to meat eaters. Lastly, we will unravel the connection between the consumption of red meat and processed meats with higher blood pressure. The effects of saturated fats on blood pressure and cholesterol. Saturated fats, predominantly found in animal-based foods, have been linked to increased blood pressure and elevated cholesterol levels. These fats can disrupt the normal functioning of blood vessels, leading to constriction and higher resistance within the arteries. As a result, blood pressure tends to rise. Furthermore, saturated fats can raise the LDL cholesterol, commonly known as the bad cholesterol, which contributes to arterial plaque formation. Cholesterol's impact on the blood pressure. High levels of cholesterol, particularly the LDL cholesterol, can have detrimental effects on blood pressure regulation. Excessive cholesterol can accumulate in the arterial walls, leading to the formation of plaque, and this process is known as atherosclerosis. Narrowing of the arteries, and it restricts the blood flow. As blood pressure rises to compensate for the decreased vessel diameter, hypertension starts to ensue. So when we look back into some of the information that we went over the past couple days, one area that I want to target back into as we continue is going to be the endothelium system. Now, this endothelium system, we spoke about how it's the guardian or the protector of your cardiovascular system. And this cholesterol and this plaque that's building up is happening because these endothelial cells are being damaged by the foods that we're consuming. So when these cells are not dilating and producing the nitric oxide to create the room for the blood to flow through smoothly, they start rubbing up, getting damaged, and now that damage leaves gaps in your armor of your blood vessels, and this is where plaque and cholesterol and all these funky things start to build up in, and it starts to obstruct the flow of the blood, which causes the blood pressure to increase, as well as a number of other things like the hardening of the arteries and things like that. So it's a number of things that consistently that's happening that contribute to this problem. And when you're on the journey to correcting your blood pressure issues, you must be able to identify the number of things that are playing a role in this process. And when it comes down to animal-based foods that are high in saturated fats that increase the cholesterol, these are all contributing things. So if you have this ongoing damage to the endothelial cells happening, and you're still consuming these saturated fats and a high amount of animal-based products, these are still contributing to the problem. Even if you're starting to dial back from what you're consuming, that cholesterol is still a process of understanding more and getting better control of your blood pressure will require that you reduce or eliminate your consumption of animal-based products to identify your triggers and start eliminating the potential causes of these problems. Now, the role of saturated fats and cholesterol in arterial plaque development. Consuming saturated fats and cholesterol contributes to the development of arterial plaque, which is a significant factor in high blood pressure. The accumulation of plaque narrows and stiffens the arteries, impeding blood flow and increasing the blood pressure levels. This further underscores the importance of reducing animal-based product consumption to mitigate plaque formation and maintain optimum blood pressure. Plant-based diets and a lower blood pressure. Research indicates that in individuals adhering to a plant-based diet tends to have lower blood pressure compared to those who consume meat. Plant-based diets are typically rich in fiber, antioxidants, and phytonutrients, which have beneficial effects on blood pressure regulation. Additionally, plant-based diets are naturally low in saturated fats and cholesterol, contributing to improved cardiovascular health and reduced blood pressure. Now, when we look into animal-based products, there's some important factors that you have to understand. When you look at animal-based products, they're missing some key components when it comes down to your overall health. And this is going to be essentially the fiber, the water, and a lot of other different vitamins and minerals when it comes down to helping regulating your blood pressure. Now, these foods do contain like potassium and magnesium and other essential minerals, but it doesn't have that complete package that your body needs for your overall health. And that's going to be like, of course, the fiber for digestion and keep things moving along, and the water for the hydration aspect of your body. It's a lot of different things. So when you're over consuming animal-based products, you're not necessarily nourishing your body at the highest level that you need to. And depending on the quality of the cuts of food of animal-based products that you're consuming, these items could be high in those saturated fats, and they could be pounding away at your endothelium system and contributing to the blood pressure problem. So it's really important that you understand what you're consuming and make the necessary adjustments. And one of the best things that you can do is by simply eating more whole foods. Because you eat more whole foods, this is going to give you all those essential nutrients that are key for regulating your blood pressure and improving your overall health. Because when it comes down to your blood pressure, this is a lifestyle issue, and you have to be willing to do the work to improve your overall health to get to the root cause of this problem. You can't just singly point out, oh, I'm going to do this or eat that or do that to correct your blood pressure issue. You really have to dial into your lifestyle as a whole. And that's going to give you the key understanding of what's contributing directly to the problem. For some individuals, it could be one thing or two things. For other individuals, it can be a multitude of things that are happening. But the better you dial into your lifestyle and understand yourself, what you're doing, what you're eating, how you're living, your stress levels, all those different factors, this is going to be able to help you get better understanding. But right now, locking into more whole foods and adopting a whole food plant-based diet or a plant-forward diet is going to allow you to gain better control. So now we're going to dive into the link with red meats and processed meats to a higher blood pressure. There's a clear association between consumption of red meat and processed meats with higher blood pressure. These types of meats are often high in saturated fats, cholesterol, and sodium. Excessive intake of these components can contribute to hypertension, jeopardizing blood pressure control. By minimizing or eliminating red meats and processed meats, individuals can take proactive steps towards managing their blood pressure effectively. Eliminating or reducing the consumption of animal-based products holds great importance when working to gain control of your blood pressure. Saturated fats and cholesterol found in these products have adverse effects on the blood pressure regulation and cholesterol levels, promoting the development of arterial plaque as well. In contrast, following a plant-based diet is associated with lower blood pressure levels. Furthermore, the link between red meat and processed meats and higher blood pressure highlights the need to make mindful dietary choices. So when you think about these processed meats, we're talking about, the cold cuts, the bacon, the sausages, any packaged smoked meats and smoked foods, things like that. Those are foods that are highly processed, that have tons of sodium in it due to the curing process, along with the saturated fats and everything else that are directly related to a lot of these chronic health issues, particularly with your blood pressure. So understanding that when it comes down to your dietary choices with, let's say, breakfast, a lot of people reach for the bacon and the eggs and the sausages and things like that first thing out of the gate. We got to understand how to set the tone when it comes down to our dietary changes, and removing those processed foods and those processed meats out of the diet is going to be a key area. Making the necessary adjustments, finding the foods that you find comfort in and increasing those, and making the nutritional changes and building those health promoting habits. Because that's what it's all about. Most of us have grown up doing certain things and living a certain way. And that's what we know. We wake up in the morning, we do certain things, we live and we eat, and we act a certain way based off of just how we were raised and the things that we've learned over the years. But now it's about unlearning that process and understanding how to dial into a more health promoting lifestyle, making the necessary adjustments when it comes down to your breakfast. For instance, that whole foods are a key thing when it comes down to regulating your blood pressure. Simply starting your day off with more whole foods is going to be the right way to get started. More fresh fruits, more whole grains, your fresh oats. All those different things are going to be great to help set the pace when it comes down to getting the nutrients that you need, giving your body all the different vitamins, minerals, enzymes, everything that are essential, and getting you off to the right start when it comes down to regulating your blood pressure. You're now removing those problematic foods and filling the voids with different things that are going to be beneficial. And all those things are going to promote health. And as you continue to build on this health promoting habit, you're going to see that translate to every aspect of your lifestyle, whether it's your mental clarity, your weight, your cholesterol levels, your blood pressure. All those things are going to benefit from the dietary changes that you're making. And this doesn't take 3 months, 2 weeks, or a year's time to happen. You see these changes in the matter of days. 2 to 3 days, you'll start seeing your digestion improve, your energy levels get better, your sleep is going to improve. A lot of things start to happen because, one, you're eliminating the burden of elimination from your body by reducing or eliminating the consumption of animal-based products. When you think about animal-based foods, the majority of them take anywhere between 6 and 8 hours to digest out of your system. So all that energy that your body has is taking it and is focusing on digestion just to break these foods down, to eliminate them and excrete them and assimilate the different nutrients and keep it moving. But when you eliminate the excessive consumption of animal-based products, now your body doesn't have to go through that high energy elimination process. Now, when you eat more whole foods, things such as fresh fruits only take 20 to 30 minutes to digest and pass through. Whole grains, potatoes, things like that, you're talking about an hour tops moving through your system and giving your body what it needs. You empty out the stomach. Now your body can focus on assimilating those nutrients, going to where they need to be, and redirecting those energies to different areas, to your brain, to think and be a little bit more sharper, to different other systems of the body to help with the elimination process and healing, and a number of different things that take place during this process. But we have to understand that when it comes down to getting better control of our blood pressure, we have to be willing to do what needs to be done to open up these different pathways of elimination. And reducing your consumption of animal-based products takes that burden off of the digestive system, opens up that pathway, and allows for your body to continue to cleanse and purge itself and move through this whole cycle. Now, one thing I want to address is all the different diet information that's out there, because when you look at diets, you got the whole food plant-based diet, the keto diet, the paleo diet, a carnivore diet. There's a number of different diets out there, and they all seem to have information that clashes with each other. And I want to break this down because I think if I break it down clean enough, it'll help you understand what the big picture really looks like without the nitpicking between diet structures and who's right or who's wrong. So I think I'm gonna give you guys a well-rounded view of the basics. That way you can understand what your nutrition should look like, no matter what type of dietary choices that you're making. And this is gonna be able to help you as you move forward. Now, to begin with, myself, I consume a whole food plant-based diet. I don't consume any animal products whatsoever. No milk, no eggs, no dairy, no animal-based products. I do completely whole foods only. And I've been this way for the last, like almost 6 years. 4 years completely, but the last 6 years in total. So understanding that when it comes down to diet, no matter what type of diet it is, it's one rule that all of them follow. And this is going to be no processed foods. No diet has any processed foods in it. Any packaged, processed, those all highly refined foods. None of these diets have any of those in there. No, not the keto diet, not the vegan diet, not the whole food plant-based diet, paleo, whatever. They don't do processed foods. That's the one thing that they all have in common. They all can say processed foods are bad. And that's one of the first steps that you're going to have to take when it comes down to correcting a lot of these chronic issues. Processed foods have to be eliminated. When you eliminate processed foods, you eliminated the salt, the oils, the refined sugars, and that's a big step. That's a big burden that you're releasing from yourself, and this is going to get you strides ahead in any situation that you're in. Processed foods have to go. That's what all these diets have in common. Now, with these different diets, they all take different approaches when it comes down to correcting the internal issues that a person may be dealing with. Think about the keto diet. The keto diet focuses on eliminating carbohydrates and eating more fats. And one of the biggest reasons why the keto diet is so successful is because most people eat too much carbohydrates anyways. It's as simple as that. The average American diet is filled with carbohydrates, whether it's bread, pasta, rice, you name it. It's just filled with carbs. So when you eliminate this excessive consumption of carbs, the first thing happens is people lose weight. And when they lose weight, their metabolism changes, the whole metabolic state changes, and their conditions start to get better. But one thing that I've understood through all the research is that once you remove these types of foods and you're consuming a heavy consumption of animal-based products or fats or what have you, these things are not sustainable in the long run. You can get those immediate gains right then and there. I've seen people do keto and lose 100 pounds, but I've also seen people do it and gain those 100 pounds right back because of the long-term sustainability isn't there. And when you're making lifestyle changes, it's all about making changes that are sustainable, that you can hold on to without having to compromise in these different areas. And the keto diet just I haven't seen where it's sustainable in the long run. Many people yo-yo back and forth, getting better, losing weight, and they end up getting off track. And now they're just going back and forth because as soon as you start back eating those carbs, you're going to gain the weight back. You're going to pretty much be back in that same position all over again. So understanding that, you want to make sure that you're implementing a more health promoting approach that's going to build a healthier foundation. That's going to be key. And one of the best places to look at when it comes down to these types of dietary changes is the areas in the world that are called the blue zones. So there's a documentary out on Netflix, I think the last couple months, that was talking about the blue zone. There's a really good book. I got it somewhere around here. You know, I like to show my books. It's a really good book written about the blue zones as well, that talks about the dietary patterns of these countries where people are living to be 100 plus years old, and they're not dealing with the cardiovascular disease, the high blood pressure, the cancer, the breast cancer, all those chronic issues that we're seeing in our country today. And the rules that they follow are simple as this. They minimize and reduce their consumption of animal-based products. They eat an abundance of whole foods, and they minimize the consumption of animal-based products. They eat an abundance of whole foods, and they don't eat any processed foods whatsoever. And those are the three guidelines that all these different communities around the world follow. And this is not something that they do intentionally. This is just how they live naturally. And they just don't consume an excessive amount of these things. They don't have the processed foods, the Coca-Colas, the bag of chips, the Pizza Huts, and the delivery thing. They don't have those things there. And when you eliminate all those X factors, they don't have the chronic disease. They don't have the high blood pressure. They don't have the cardiovascular disease. They don't have the cancers. So we have to understand that those problematic foods that are in our society that we find comfort in, these are part of our problem. And I'm not the type of person to sit here and like just demonize food and say, don't eat this, don't eat that. Quite frankly, you can do what you want to do. But if your goal is to correct your blood pressure issues and get control and improve your overall health, you're going to have to pull away from these different things. Separation. You're going to have to separate from these things and make the necessary changes. And once you do that, you're going to start to make strides and get the results that you're looking for. And that's going to help put you in a better position to manage your situation, get control of it, and eliminate the problem. And once you eliminate the problem and you actually hit that reset button on your health, now you're in a better position to make certain dietary choices and, indulge in certain things if you like. That way, you've gotten control, you've done better, you understood the process, and now you can probably sit back and maybe enjoy a slice of pizza with your friends and family at the game or what have you. But until you make the necessary changes to regain your health, you should not be having any of these things whatsoever. And if you wish to after you've gotten better, then that's your prerogative. You do what you want to do, because at the end of the day, you understand the spectrum that you're on, you understand what you need to do, and you've gotten the control that you need to. And now it's all about managing your situation and making sure that you don't fall back into that trap that you're in now, that's contributing to these blood pressure issues. And that's where just understanding your lifestyle is so key. You have to be willing to dial in and step away. And during this process, I've seen many individuals step away for 45 days, 60 days, and see a grand change in their overall health. This doesn't take forever to happen. Your body is very wise and filled with the wisdom of what it needs to rebuild itself. We all started from a small egg and a sperm came together, and it turned us into what we are. There's no blueprint for that. You don't know how that happens. The only way that happens is through the cells and the knowledge that's in the cells that's already programmed into your body. Your body knows how to naturally do this. But it requires that in order for you to heal yourself, it requires for you to get into alignment and allow for this to happen. And part of this alignment of correcting your blood pressure is the removal of those things that are causing the problem. The number one rule is healing is removing all things that are contributing to the problem. If you're looking to heal the blood pressure and correct those blood pressure issues, all foods that are problematic need to be removed. And this is going to put you on the fastest line to correcting those things. So that's going to be the number one thing. And back to it, we talked about the salts. We talked about the oils. We talked about the sugars, the caffeine, alcohol, and the excessive consumption of animal-based products. Dialing into those things and removing them from your diet is going to be key. And again, the best way to do this is through gradual progression. Some individuals can do well just going cold turkey. Like me, for myself, I did well just going cold turkey. For some reason, I just can kick stuff for some reason. Like I don't know where I get it from. But I can walk away and not have to worry about having anything else the rest of my life and be okay with that. Some individuals do good with that. Other individuals need to gradually progress. One of the best ways to do it, start dialing back on certain things. Understanding what's problematic and start reducing from there. So if you want to start with your sodium consumption, start finding healthier alternatives. Instead of using, well, let me slow down a little bit. So instead of using, well, I lost train of thoughts. When it comes down to your sodium consumption, the first thing that you should do is start gauging how much you're using throughout the day. So if you're putting salt in all of your meals, you already know that, man, this is contributing to the problem. So now you know that 1 teaspoon of salt is 24 to 2,700 milligrams of sodium. You should start off with there. Like, okay, this is my daily allowance of what I can use all day. And now you start dialing back from that point and monitoring what you're doing and just start to continue to gradually reduce what you're doing. And what happens is when you follow this type of step with the removal process, your body's going to continue to adjust. Your body adjusts to everything that you do, whether it's good or bad. If you have a bad habit and you do it every day, your body's going to get comfortable with that bad habit every day because it needs to make the necessary adjustments to make sure that it's in the best position to survive as long as possible. And vice versa. If you start doing a health promoting habit, your body's going to make sure that it does what it needs to do to continue to thrive. Just like if you go walking or running every day, your body's only going to get stronger and faster at what you're doing. It's going to progress in the right direction. Same thing goes when it comes down to the negative aspect. Your body's going to decline in that same way to try to prevent the damages of what you're doing. So understanding that putting your best foot forward is going to be the ideal way when it comes down to getting control of this problem. And the gradual progression allows for you to make the necessary steps to move forward and have more control. Because sometimes a lot of people, we see and we get the information and we're so eager to try it, which is a great thing, but we set ourselves up and we say, okay, I'm going to stop consuming salt. I'm going to stop doing this and stop doing that. And we have the right intentions, but it can become overwhelming for us. And once we start getting overwhelmed, we start feeling defeat. And when you start feeling defeated, you start to drop out of the race because you feel like you can't overcome this problem. So you have to start with gradual progression. That way you can start seeing the small wins. When you start getting that gradual win and you say, oh yeah, I did this. I went no salt for this whole week and I lost 4 pounds. That's a win. That's a big win. People go their whole life trying to lose 4 or 5 pounds. They talk about it every day. But if you do these things and start seeing these small wins, this is going to help motivate you to keep moving forward. And nothing's more better than seeing that blood pressure start to come down through these different pathways, whether it's the salt, the oils, the sugars, the refined, the processed foods. That gradual progression is going to be key to helping you get there. So the biggest thing that most people can do right out the gate is eliminating the processed foods and then dialing into all of these other aspects to help you continue to get control. Because again, there's no pressing that reset button if you're still consuming all of these things. You're going to find yourself doing the roller coaster ride. Blood pressure looks good and it goes back up. It looks good, goes back up. You might have some consistent times when it's high. You might even see some consistent when it's like looking pretty average or lower. But the main goal is to eliminate these foods that are contributing to the problem, enter the foods that are health promoting, that's going to help build our bodies up. And this is going to allow for your body to build up its resilience to be able to handle and manage the blood pressure on its own without the need for pharmaceutical medications. And this is how you effectively work your way off of those pharmaceutical pills. But you have to go through the process of rebuilding the body. Many of us probably been dealing with blood pressure issues for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, however long. This is not a life sentence of medications because you've been on it for so long, but you have to be willing to go through the process to build yourself up. Just like we eat the foods and been doing and living a poor lifestyle for these last few years and it's contributing to the problem, this all took time to cause damage. But getting in a health promoting lifestyle and allowing the body to do what it needs to do, you put yourself in position to build it up. And that's what the course of these different challenges are. Understand what you need to do and putting the right foot forward to get where you need to go. And as you do it, you're going to see the results. And many individuals in our group right now has been uploading pictures, documenting their journey, and they're showing the testimonies behind these different strategies. And only thing you have to do is show up and be yourself during this process. Be consistent and keep moving forward. That's the main thing that I can say to you guys. Consistency is key when it comes down to your blood pressure control. Understand the process, stick to it as well, gradually progress in your different pathways and watch how your body responds. And that's why I get back into documenting your journey, because as you're going through these different strategies, you document your journey and you'll understand exactly what's happening. And this is going to be the key to getting you where you need to go. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them down low inside of the chat. And I think this actually rounds off our Pressure Purge Challenge ebook. And yeah, that's the end of the Pressure Purge Challenge ebook. And that's going to conclude our Pressure Purge Challenge for this last 7-day challenge. So understanding that this is all a process that continues to get put together with everything else that we're doing. So we started off with the 7-day fruit and salad challenge, where we were dialing in and understanding the different minerals that are essential for regulating the blood pressure. We talked about the potassium, the magnesium, the calcium, the sodium, the zinc, the vitamin D, the antioxidants, all those great things that are essential for regulating the blood pressure. And we talked about where you get these things from, the types of foods, the fruits, the vegetables, the whole grains, all those things that are filled with these nutrients. Now, that same tactic and strategy that we were using from week 1, we should be continuing and doing the same thing as we move into week 2. We adding those health promoting foods to our diet, and now we're purging and removing those damaging foods, the salts, the oils, the sugars, the caffeine, the alcohol, the excessive consumption of animal-based products. Now you're pulling those things out, and you're going to make sure that you continue to put those health promoting foods in. And this is where the building process starts to go, because now you're going to be removing those things that are contributing to the problem and adding more of those things that are building. That's going to help your body build up its cellular structure, fill up those nutritional storages, and you're going to continue to get better control of your blood pressure. And week by week, or day by day, week by week, as you continue this process, your body's going to become more stronger, more resilient, and this is going to keep the ball rolling in the right direction when it comes down to blood pressure control. And next up, our following challenge is going to be week 3. Our following challenge is going to be our Fit for Life challenge, because one thing about blood pressure issues, it's not always centered around nutrition. And the Fit for Life challenge opens the gate for us to understand how to create more movement and the importance that it has when it comes down to our blood pressure. Now, we all understand that we need to move our bodies more and exercise. We all know that. We heard that since we were children. We need to get more exercise and do this, that, for whatever particular reasons. But understanding how key it is to your blood pressure is key, because many people's blood pressure issues, it lies around them just not moving their bodies enough and living that sedentary lifestyle where they're sitting down, not moving enough. Because one thing about it is this: if you're on blood pressure medications and you sit down at work and you come home and sit down, you're gonna never get off of blood pressure medication. You have to move your body. You have to create flow and improve your circulation, because when you understand how to move your body, this helps when it comes down to your endothelial cells, them dilating, and the production of nitric oxide, which again is that molecule that helps the blood vessels dilate to improve the circulation. So understanding how important movement is key. But the biggest thing is understanding how to create movement for yourself. Everyone's movement level is completely different depending on their health, their age, and other different factors. So we have to understand where you fall on this on this spectrum to actually understand what's best for you, understanding what type of movement is good for aerobics or stretching or resistance or whatever different category, understanding what's key. And our Fit for Life challenge, it dives into those different aspects. That's where you can understand how to safely apply more movement to your life, how to come up with the right type of strategy to do so, and to be and make sure that it's effective for you. Because many people say, okay, I want to start working out or exercising. They start and then they end up falling off the wagon. They start again, and they start falling off, and they just can't seem to be consistent with the process. And that's where the Fit for Life challenge is going to dive into, to help you understand how to safely and effectively build an exercise routine, whether you're 40 years old, 60 years old, 70 years old, dealing with weight issues or blood sugar issues, whatever your problem is. The Fit for Life challenge goes into these different areas. That way you can understand how to create more movement for yourself in the comfort of your own home as well. That way you can gradually progress in this particular area and continue to move forward. And the goals of these challenges are to continue to build up your foundation with these health promoting strategies that are all centered into improving your lifestyle. And one thing that I always say is that when you improve your lifestyle, your blood pressure issues are going to just walk away, seemingly, because you're doing the things that are necessary for to correct these issues. So these different challenges have all been designed to help you through these different pathways, and it's all about just dialing in and being consistent with it. And that's what the high blood pressure community Facebook group is all about. This is where we're at when it comes down to just being consistent, talking about our troubles and our issues that we're dealing with, and just having some accountability. The group is there filled with individuals that are dealing with these same problems. Everyone in there has some form of blood pressure issues, myself included, was dealing with some nutritional changes, stress changes, or whatever have you. But this group is where we continue to work together and get that understanding and just have that accountability. That way we can continue to dial in. One of the biggest things that's happening now is that the holiday seasons are starting to come in as well. And this is where a lot of people start to landslide. And that's what you want to completely avoid, because holiday seasons are one of the biggest triggers when it comes down to heart attacks, strokes, and other type of health complications. Because one, it's the weather changes. It gets colder. You're not outside as much. You're not moving as much. And you start to be stagnant. And one thing about life is that one key sign of life is movement, being able to move your body and do things and go. And when you become stagnant and still and not moving, that's a sign of death, and disease continues to manifest in that state. So understanding how to continue to move and understanding the different aspects or different triggers are going to be key. When the seasons changes, chronic issues start to progress and get worse. So we have to understand that this time of the year is really critical when it comes down. I don't know why this keeps flashing. It's really critical when it comes down to our overall health, and being able to tap in is key. And we know if this type of year with Thanksgiving and the holidays coming around, it's a lot of unhealthy food moving through, and a lot of us going to be subjected to some of these things. But understanding your ground that you need to maintain is going to be key. Understanding how to bend and don't break is going to be key, because it's a struggle, because we go around family and friends, and then there's all this good stuff cooking and going on, and we tend to go home or go in certain areas, and we find that comfort. And when we get too comfortable, we start backsliding. So it's important to understand, if you're going to bend, how not to break, to find yourself completely relapsing and dealing with these issues all over again. Because most of the time, once these holidays come through, people just throw away their diets. They collapse completely. And the first thing that they say is, I'm gonna wait till the new year, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get myself back right again. I've already lost what I was trying. I've already failed at what I was trying to accomplish. I'm gonna wait for the new year, and new year, new me type of situation. And that's one of the worst approaches, because right now is the best time for change. Right now, because when you start now, This is going to allow you to reach your goals and your results that you're looking for a lot faster. But the main thing that you have to do is have the right tactics and strategies in order to do so. So moving forward through this fall season, through the holiday changes, we're going to continue with our challenges, continue understanding these different tactics and strategies, and most importantly, continue to support each other through these different challenges. That way we can continue to get the results and reach our end goal, which is to eliminate the need for pharmaceutical medications and just improve our overall health. So with that being said, I don't see any other questions up there. This rounds off our Pressure Purge Challenge. Those of you that signed up, you still have this ebook along with all the other information that's there for you to review whenever you need to. These live videos are going to be up as well on YouTube, so you can come and view whenever you need to as well. And when we do kick off the Fit for Life Challenge, I'll make sure I send out all the emails to you all. That way you can analyze the challenge and decide if you want to be a part and continue to move forward with the different tactics and strategies. If you were a part of the last Fit for Life Challenge, you saw all the different movement routines that was in there. I actually have a special guest trainer this time that works specifically with individuals with chronic issues that's developing a plan for us. And I'll send out more information moving forward. That way you can see the new challenge, see the different goals and objectives that we have, and just see if this is right for you moving forward. So with that being said, peace and blessings, everyone. I hope you guys stay safe and continue to move forward with this journey. And I look forward to seeing you all in the Facebook group in the next coming days or so. So blessings, everyone, and take care.